this time, I want to turn the program over to the chairman of the Paulding County Board of Commissioners, Mr. Dave Carmichael, for our State of the County address. Thank you, sir.
Hello, everyone. What a great backdrop. What a great front drop. Is that a word? Thank you. I should say greetings to all you COVID-19 survivors, right? What a truly unprecedented time. By the way, Ashley and Tara, y'all get awards for bringing umbrellas. Real smart ladies. I don't say anything about the virus lightly at all, regardless of how you've assessed the pandemic. We have all experienced some kind of stress, haven't we? It's at some level, whether it's at work or whether it's the inability to work, whether it's financial stress or, I don't know, Kelly, marital stress, parenting stress. You know, we've all experienced something new and different in this unprecedented time. We in county government have earnestly approached the threats and the challenges of the recent months. We have aligned with the National Emergency Health Declaration and the state guidelines and directives. We've closely stayed in touch with DPH and Wellstar, the cities of Hiram and Dallas, and our state delegates. We've been with them on a regular weekly basis. So we've worked collaboratively to address this whole situation. Our EMA, our Emergency Management Agency, has said that and described our actions as spot on. And I'll certainly take that compliment any day of the week. And I'd like to thank our EMA Director, Chief Pelfrey, and Co-Director Stephen Dooley, with his wife Jennifer, and Co-Director or Operations Manager Eve Cogsdell, our coordinator. We have worked as a team to take gradual steps to the full sheltering and now gradual steps to retract and emerge from the lockdown. So hopefully we're almost there, right? I'm glad, for this little commercial aside, to have my wife, Mary Lou, here. And truthfully, being married to a commissioner, particularly these two, commission chairman is not an easy job. I try not to take it home. Like you, Brian, I'm sure you try not to take your educational challenges home. She puts up a lot, so maybe this will help. Just give her one of those. Today, as last year, I've opted for our board to deliver the state of the county because, friends, that we're not just a board. We are a team. Team Paulding is a true motto. We're not fake news. We live by it. We believe in it. We don't always agree on which play to run, but when we get 3 votes, that's 3 out of 5 to make a majority, we accept the outcome and we move on. So I'm joined here today by Post 3 Commissioner Chuck Hart, Post 4 Commissioner Brian Stover, our County Administrator Frank Baker, and our County Attorney is sitting out in the sun. Raise your hand, Jason. We appreciate him, and I'm even going to say love him more than I can describe. Post 2 Commissioner Sandy Caker could not be here today, and I just got a call from Post 1 Commissioner Ron Davis last night at 7 that said he had a conflict. Chuck is going to share Sandy's comments that she's written out. So we haven't met in person since February. It's great to be together here at the airport, and part of the Aviation Museum is beginning to take shape. The 3 operable vintage birds behind us, you got 2 T-28 Trojans on the outside and a C-45 Expediter in the middle there. And we got more down in the what we call the petting zoo. Just some real unusual and historic airplanes that are going to bring a lot of people to Paulding County as a tourism attraction just to see them. So I'm real happy that that's developing. Terry Tibbetts, our executive out here at the airport, has done a great job in working with Pete O'Hara And all you guys with the museum, thank you. And Christine over here, their executive director, they just, I was at the Chamber Golf Tournament last Wednesday, and there was Christine helping check in. So although she lives up in Hickson, Tennessee, she's really taken part in a lot that's going on. So what I want to do in the next 5 minutes is tell you about the changes in Paulding County over the last year, the kind of the human interest, people-oriented, and then my three teammates will cover a highlight or two from their respective area about whatever they want to share about. It's up to them. First thing I want to tell you about is business applications and permitting online. I wouldn't expect you to recall last June, but I talked about it and I said part one was already completed, which is the business applications. So you can sit in your den, on your couch, in your pajamas and do your business application, and you have been able to for the last year. The other part of that is the permitting side, and that's what we've really just wrapped up in the last few weeks. There's a lot more difficulty than we thought in pulling this off. Our software had to be standardized. Our departments, of course, had to be speaking the same language. So there was much training involved. Our inspectors in the field had to transition to using iPads and develop that competency. All the departments had to have buy-in because they have inputs to different applications for construction and things that are made. So I want to thank all the department heads here for all they've done to make this a reality. And would the department heads just stand wherever you are? Rebecca, Joey. So great. A lot of them are not here today, but I would also like to give special thanks. And I think he's watching via live stream. Special recognition to IT Director Will Lyons, who's worked very hard to accomplish this goal for me and for the entire board. We've been looking forward to this. So on April 28th, Mr. Glenn Johnson is an example, who made a permit application for the construction of a new home, received his signed and approved permit application without stepping a foot into the Watson complex, into the administrative building. So I framed for him, and I'd hoped that he would be here. You're not here, are you, Glenn? But he didn't intentionally make this application to be first. That was just the luck of the draw, if you will, or being at the right place at the right time. And I will get this framed copy to him. It's signed by the Community Development Director, the Tax Commissioner, the GIS, Global Information System Director, Environmental Health, the Development Division, and the Water Department. And they all conversed and made this happen together without him having to go around each one of these departments. So it was uncontrollable, but he was, like I said, the right place at the right time. It's a very big deal for Paulding County. There was a lot of accusations that we weren't business friendly, that we weren't a good place to do business, but we are open for business and we are very business friendly. Next, and kind of combined with the online permitting, I'm glad to report that our outdated ordinances and regulations have been thoroughly reviewed and updated. We've addressed things like e-commerce and iDining, new zoning categories, and other day-to-day activity commercial needs that we've had. So it needed a fresh coat of paint, and now it's got that. We have called this mission Ready, Set, Go, and I thought Ann was going to be here. Ann Lippman? She had a lot to do with this Ready, Set, Go and has been after it week after week for several months. So we're ready for future permitting applications. Send yours in. We're set for good business practices, and we can go up against any other county with our business acumen. During the administrative building being closed during the shelter in place, the staff never stopped taking and reviewing plans. So this is kind of an unintended test to check our progress, and we're good. Thirdly and lastly, I want to let you know that we have totally evaluated retirement plans and programs for our first responders our law enforcement personnel, our firefighters, marshal, or even our emergency 911 employees. We recognize that some job requirements are more physically and mentally challenging than others. You can imagine a 62-year-old trying to roll out a 50-yard water hose to get to the fire, or that same person trying to get to a second-level bedroom where there's an endangered citizen. You know, I don't know about you, but I'm getting older every day. And so what this did was it allows our workforce in law enforcement and to the opportunity to retire earlier. And we hope, our board hopes, that this path to retirement will help recruitment and retaining our best and our brightest. Okay, before I turn the microphone over to Commissioner Hart, I want to underscore some excellent teamwork and collaboration with the Sheriff's Office, the Fire Department, the school system to produce ADAD. It stands for Alcohol Drug Awareness Day, that we put to 3 different schools, an elementary school, a middle school, and a high school. And we all work together to help these kids see the dangers of vaping and other harmful habits that could negatively affect our youngest citizens. We also have added, just last meeting, a representative for our planning and zoning process to provide, we've added a school system representative to the planning and zoning process so that they can input and communicate with us the concerns about what construction applications, the subsequent effects that they might have in Paulding County schools. Something else I'm just proud of, which is working with the other departments. Okay, I got one additional rocket flare that I'll symbolically send over to the corporate hangar. And the corporate hangar is now a new business center. A lot of it's just a hangar for airplanes and maintenance of airplanes, but 5,000 square feet of it is a new business center, and I'm proud to announce that 5 new businesses will go there in July and begin their businesses. There's also a new pilot's lounge on the south side there, where you can go in and file a flight plan, you can get some rest, you can purchase fuel, and be ready for the next leg of your flight. So, lastly, I want to commend all of you all for being a supporter of Paulding business, and I commission you all in the Paulding Ready for Business, Open for Business Club. Last thing is we've had some requests for peaceful protest, and we're entertaining those requests by working together with law enforcement, the mayors, and state delegates again to accommodate and to support peaceful protest. What we want to do is proactively speak for unity and harmony in our county and our neighborhoods, and collectively commit to overcome prejudice and biases of all kinds. So thank you for your attention, and you got it, Chuck.
Man, it's a privilege, to be here today. It's good to see all the folks that turned out. I swear, it just every day that I get out and I see crowds and I see folks, I feel like we're a little bit closer to normal, and I'm thankful for that. The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to talk to Post 2 and their progress according to Sandy. Sandy's a great individual. I met her on the campaign trail. And when I think about Sandy, I think about a selfless person, a public servant. I think about somebody who's willing to serve. Post 2 has got a great leader in Sandy Caker. But I'm going to stick to script because I'm going to tell you something. Sandy's strict with us too. So I don't want to, if I miss something, and by the way, if you overlap some of her stuff, you'll have to deal with her later. So, but here we go. Sandy wanted to start out by saying, thanking everybody for coming out to the fabulous airport. She is so proud of this airport, as we all should be. She said that she would be here online and in spirit, and she will. Since we are at the airport, I will start with progress. Yes, I said progress of Paulding County Northwest Airport. A lot is going on at our little airport. We are all contributing to our national security of our great country by providing a training location to our armed forces. They train here quite often, it is great to be able to give back to those who protect us. We are the home of a Gulfstream 650, which we are very proud to have them here. Their one aircraft is huge for our school's economic development and the tax growth. I think the chairman, well, he already did speak more to that. Next week, we'll be opening our 24/7 Pilots Lounge, which I did talk to Terry. I think that's opening, and also the historical part of it. So anyway, she wanted to point to that. She said she was thankful that would give pilots a place to go when they're training, a place to sit down and look at their maps. It also gives passengers some facilities, a place to go while they're gassing up here at the airport. She pointed to the museum, and she talked about it and the outdoor display, which is already there. You guys see the 3 planes behind you, which are a testimony to what's coming. Steve was one of the volunteers out preparing the wings of the aircraft to be painted last week. She said that if you reach out to this organization, that they accept volunteer service as well. Paulding County now has several businesses at the airport, which I spoke on in Paulding County today. That was her piece last month, or month before last. They're all doing well. I think they're all about completed now. The new flight school has graduated a couple of pilots already, and we also have new businesses coming in the beginning of July, pending the finishing of the business center. I think when I was talking to Terry, there's only one area that's not been rented out. And it's funny, when you talk about T-hangers or you talk about office space out here, they don't get something done that there's not a waiting list or it's not rented out. I mean, it's definitely going to be an asset as we go forward with the county. She said we continue to move forward with the maintenance school with Chat Tech, waiting on the FAA to approve the land. Then she pointed at the jail, and I think the good sheriff is going to come up here, and I'm going to let him speak to it first, and whatever he don't cover, I'll make sure I get it in.
He makes me look good. Good evening, everybody. I know everybody's hot, so I'm going to make mine short, fast, and in a hurry, which I'm good at doing anyway. Back in November of 2016, all of y'all that's from around here knows that the voters approved a $77 million bond to build a new sheriff's office and detention center. My chief deputy, Chad Hunting, where you at? He's shaded up. If anybody wants to build a commercial building, me or him is interested in helping you. We're through. This thing has been a project going on 4 years now. We finally got it finished. Monday night, we moved the inmates into the jail. I know you're all hearing we're having problems, and it's like building a new house. We are having problems. We've had problems since the day we moved in when sewer started running out of the ceilings, and it's welcome to your new building. Now stop the sewer from running out. But we're working on the issues. Any new construction, you're going to have these problems. We've had some issues with the toilets not flushing. We've had some issues with the air conditioning leaking. We'll get it all figured out. It's a nice building. It's beautiful. All of our employees are tickled to death to have enough room to do their job. It's going to be safer for our employees. It's safer for the inmates. Our old facility was 30 years old. It was originally built as a 200-bed facility, and we kept adding beds to it till we got it up to 300. And our friendly fire marshal said we couldn't put no more beds in there. So this building is badly needed. We had a poor design in the other building. We couldn't do our classifications as the law requires us to do. This existing facility, or the old place, we was scattered out all over. We had employees over beside DFACs. We had them in mobile homes beside us. We had them all over the place. We had one at a library out at Crossroads, and now we've got everybody back under one roof, and they don't like it because every time they turn around, me or him one stand there going, "How y'all doing?" So it's a lot easier to keep up with your employees when you can see them. The buildings together with the visitation center is about 245,000 square feet. We've got 480 beds in general population. We got 96 beds for the inmate workers. We have one of our biggest issues that we've learned that we have to deal with is mental health and medical problems. We have 55 beds in a medical unit where we can deal with those problems. Before, we had a doctor's office that was about half the size of this stage with a doctor and 2 nurses and a room to see inmates. Our doctors and nurses are still jumping up and down. Even Dr. Wehunt is skipping down the halls, and he ought to fall over dead one of these days, but He's skipping right now. But the total bed space there is 631. We reached out to Georgia Sheriff's Association to tell us what we needed to do. They did a needs assessment. They had requested that we build one for the future growth of Paulding based on population and numbers was around 660 beds. This building, I know everybody's heard we have a tunnel that goes to the court. It's an above ground tunnel. They said, what is that? I said, an enclosed walkway. So everybody wants to see the tunnel, and all you got to do is look between the two buildings and you can see it. It's above ground. It's a concrete tube, and we can send the inmates from the jail into the court without ever taking them outside. So if you see an inmate outside, they're one of three things. They're a worker, they're free, or they've escaped. We built this building. The support part of it is bigger than we need right now. We built it so that if we have to add on, after I'm dead and gone, I hope, if we have to add on another facility with beds for the inmates, the facility is big enough that we can add washers and dryers to the laundry. We can add stuff in the kitchen to feed them. There's enough room in the book in, book out where we keep their inmate stuff. We got enough room that we can do that without adding on to the building. I was adamant about doing that because the price, we're still arguing over numbers right now, but it's about $245 a square foot we built on this building, and they're pricing one now, and he said they're up around $355. So I don't think there'll ever be a time in the future to build a building cheaper than the one we done on this one. We moved into the sheriff's office part of it on May the 13th, and Monday we got the inmates moved in there. It took us about 6 hours to get them all in. Right now it don't look like the inmates likes the place very well, but if they don't like it, don't come back. I know it's hot, and I'm gonna shut up. Unless somebody has a question that they just got to have an answer to, or if not, I'll be around. You're welcome to talk to me or Colonel Hunt. Either one will answer any questions you got. The doors at the sheriff's office is always open to the public. Anything we do is open to you. If you want to see what we're doing, if you want to come by and meet people, if you want to come by and hang out, you're always welcome. There's coffee on 24/7. There's water there usually. We always welcome to see the public, whether it's good or bad. If you got a problem with us or some of our guys, come by and see us. Let's see if we can reach a solution. David? I don't have a plan for the old jail. What I think they're going to do with our old office is, unless I kill all these firemen around here, I think the fire admin will probably move into our old office. I know we've had some people reach out to the county about using the old jail for shooting some films in it. What they're going to do with it, David, I don't know. It's probably a good question for Chuck Hart since he knows everything. Anything else? Thank y'all for your time, and thanks for coming out.
As I suspected, the firemen always get the leftovers from Paulding County SO. Brian and I did go out there and toured that, and Gary was good enough, him and Chad, to take us around and show us it was truly a cool-looking facility. I think the only thing that he didn't say that she said was on 11/8/2016, the voters approved a $77 million bond referendum to construct the new jail. We are at 72.4. With $4.6 million below the bond. Yes, there were a lot of changes, whether or not cooperating, ran into rock. Of course, he said that. This was the largest building ever constructed by the county, all in all. So it is something to be proud of, and I am thankful that we were able to hold that thing down to where it is, and she was actually correct there. And she also wanted to point to the phase 2 of the Mulberry Rock Park and the work that we're doing out there. But other than that, that was about what Sandy had to say to you guys today. She wanted to tell everybody thank you and God bless you. And guys, whenever I think about things going on in Post 3, it's hard not to think about our friends here at Greystone. That's going to be a gem for us, going forward. We're thankful to have that in the Post. We do have, I think I had to sit down with John Walton, and we had a little thing on the today, so I'm going to leave that one out. But what I did reach out to Laurie Ashmore. She is over our water department. Laurie, she provided me with a lot of good information. I'm excited because in 18 months we've hit the ground running with infrastructure in the Post 3 area. This right here is what's going to alleviate your property taxes in the future. It's unfortunate, you don't make these decisions and the money comes in that year. It doesn't come in the next year, but it starts trickling in. We're going to be able to plant seeds that we're going to be able to realize over the next 8-10 years. I want to start out with the Ridge Road expansion, Baker's Bridge Road expansion, sewer expansion. This was where we partnered with a local developer, and we went round and round, and we came out as minimal as we could, and this guy, he really ponied up, and it allowed us to put gravity sewer on 59 acres at a very busy intersection. Whenever we put that thing in there, the gravity sewer, of course, goes to all four. Then there's also a force main that pumps it back into our original system back at Nebo and Dallas Nebo. This private water sewer system, this alleviated some issues that they were having with their private system. It was starting to be a problem, so it helped the county in a number of ways. It helped us to first of all fix a problem, and second of all provide for more growth in that intersection. Which, by the way, if you drive by there's something under construction right now across from the Kroger, and several more lots, and I'll be very surprised if you don't see a couple more things within the year. Nextly, we have the East Hiram Sewer Project, and we partnered with Greystone, on this. They were good partners on this, and we've got this thing going. It's going to be able to service up to 900 additional acres with 440 existing lots. Of course, it's primarily put here to serve this headquarters. Now, this is where the deal with Laurie comes in, that whole bunch just works so good together. She brought us 4 concept drawings, way ahead of all this stuff, and we developed a situation to where we could extend sewer later on. Well, guess what? Later on's here. We already have the next project in place. But this particular construction is approximately 2 miles of gravity along 92 from Ridge Road to Lick Log and down Lick Log. It also bolsters a pump station that's 600 gallons per minute at Bennett that's going to pump it out into Cobb County, which is where it originally needs to go. I'm so proud that Laurie's worked with us so diligently on that. The East Hiram Sewer Project extension came about because the IBA had purchased some land, and we have 128 acres that 3,200 feet will connect with this same sewer. And I'm excited about that. I'm excited about the fact that as they build out and things start happening there, we can push it on up to 92, and guess what? We'll be able to grab Ridge Road and Nebo and divert it back into Cobb County where it should go, alleviating some of the pressure off of the Copper Mine Basin. And that's what we need to do because it is at capacity. But just because we did have that problem, she proactively thought about getting the phase 2 of that into place, because currently it's 1 million gallons per day capacity, but we have a permit for 4 million gallons per day. So an additional 1 million gallon per day expansion has been approved. We've already had the engineering, and as of December of 2019, the EPD has signed off on it. So as we need that, we're ready to go with it. Also, my crown jewel, and I see Frank up here in the front, is this State Road 92 Hiram Sewer Extension. We've got issues, the same sort of issues going on along down the 92 side, where we have put in temporary systems that have become permanent systems that are not working so properly these days. So the catch on that, though, is we have to have this engineered before we can seek grants. I believe we'll be able to get grants for these, but when we reached out to people to get bids on this engineering, we have 8 firms that have stepped up, and they want to look into doing this project for us. And I think that will bolster some competitive bidding on that side. But guys, when it comes to infrastructure, you're either growing or you're dying. You can't catch back up right away with it. I'm thankful that we're in here. There's not as many distractions these days, and we're able to work hard and diligently on getting the stuff in the ground. But I can assure you, barring any changes for something that's unforeseen, we're going to continue to put these seeds in the ground. That, coupled with responsible incentives on residential builders, I think it's going to help us alleviate some of the tax burden that is on our citizens today. And with that, I just want to go ahead and introduce to y'all Mr. Brian Stover.
Is everybody ready to go? I was sitting back there thinking, looking out there, that movie with everybody, all the kids are sat there on the last day of school waiting for the clock to strike to go home time. So I'm going to make it as fast as possible. I decided to run so I could hopefully join this team and make Paulding a better place. I grew up here. I love it. I want my kids to love it just like I did and have the same opportunities. So As your Post 4 Commissioner, I'm excited to announce that through 3 decades of droughts, flooding, and federal permitting, we are closing in on the finish line of our Richland Creek water supply program. Paulding County staff and elected officials have worked hard to bring this program to successful completion, from land purchasing, permitting, and now through construction. This program is an important first step toward water independence for Paulding. Today, the intake, along with the 18 million gallon per day plant, are complete and the reservoir is filling. A few facts of the new reservoir. It's a 305 reservoir which will hold 3 billion gallons of raw water. The normal depth at the deepest point is 110 feet. Stocking is being coordinated with the Department of Natural Resources. So give the fish a few years to grow and we'll have some great fishing out there. And since this is a drinking water reservoir, there will be no gas motors allowed. Over the last year, our county, through Paulding County Economic Development, took important steps leading to a new focus on economic development in this community, which I'm very proud of, to be part of. This started with updating and improving the bylaws, creating a new board, and the hiring of a new executive director who began to work here in Paulding this February. Our new executive director, Michael Hughes, has extensive professional experience in economic development, land use planning and zoning. He was most recently the head of Cobb County's economic development for over 25 years. Since starting with the Paulding County Economic Development, he has hit the ground running, working closely with county staff and consultants on making recommendations for revising the county's zoning ordinances, development standards, the county's comprehensive plan, and drafted economic incentive programs for the BOC's future consideration. In the coming months, we will work closely with different entities to develop a countywide economic development strategy that will serve as a blueprint for promoting the county's image, overall business climate, and brand. This strategy will also be better position the county for economic development by promoting available sites and buildings, supporting small businesses and startups, develop a county-city economic incentive redevelopment toolkit, create a business retention program, which is one of my favorite, re-engaging with key economic development partners like the Georgia Department of Economic Development, site selection consultants, and members of the real estate industry. I would like to thank Georgia Power, Carroll EMC, and Greystone for their continued financial investment and support of economic development here in Paulding County. With all the wonderful opportunities that await Paulding in the area of economic development, now is our time to invest in attracting, training, and retaining a skilled workforce. And that starts by supporting and promoting our Paulding College and Career Academy. This educational opportunity opened last fall to its first group of students, offering 4 key areas of work-based learning: cybersecurity, energy, healthcare, and mechatronics. In the wake of our nation's pandemic, there has never been a time that strong leadership and the need for collaboration has been more important. My goal as your post commissioner is to lead, serve, and support Paulding, my home. I wish to thank these leaders of City of Dallas, City of Hiram, our IBA, our Paulding Chamber, the EDO, and the Airport Authority for all working together to not only create a strategic direction of growth and success, but to implement it for a more prosperous Paulding. Thank you.
I feel really bad about sitting up here and watching all of y'all with the fans. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Frank Baker, and I'm your friend. I am the county administrator, and yes, I am here to help you, Frank. Frank, mayor from City of Hiram. We're brothers from another mother. We're both named Frank, both have gray mustaches, both old cops, and our wives are both named Suzanne, so how ironic is that? I'm going to be really short. In fact, I just wrote what I'm going to talk to you about right here just a few minutes ago. Everything that has been presented is about team. And the chairman said it earlier. We really believe that. Team Paulding is important to us. It's not just a slogan, but it's something that we do, and we do it every day. So I got up this morning, and I thought, what am I going to talk about? And I got this song in my head. That ever happened to you? And it's with you all day long, and you can't get it out of your head? Well, those of you who know me, I love music. My nickname is Baker Street from the song Baker Street. So this morning, I thought about this Jimmy Webb song. Some of you might not know who Jimmy Webb is. Jimmy Webb is a songwriter and wrote some of the greatest songs, in my opinion, for artists like Glenn Campbell. He wrote MacArthur Park. Those of you may be familiar with that song. But I was thinking about this song that he wrote and it was performed by Art Garfunkel. It's one of my favorite songs. It's called All I Know. And my longtime professional colleague sitting under the tent over there knows exactly this song, and we've talked about it for years. I've known Steve Grimsley for a long time. And I thought about this song because next week, in 8 days, I'll have 37 years in government service. And why am I telling you that? I thought I had seen everything. I've been a police officer. I've been a law enforcement chief in another county. And I've been in government service for a long time, and I thought I had seen and heard of everything until COVID-19 came to town. Wow. It changed everything. So I thought about this song this morning. There's a fine line between the darkness and the dawn. They say in the darkest night, there's a light beyond. Team Paulding believes there's a light beyond. We've been working hard. There's an old saying with us old cops. When citizens get in trouble, they call the police. And when the police get in trouble, they call SWAT. Isn't that right, Chief? Well, when we have an issue and we get in trouble, we call somebody. We call our superstar. Let me tell you about the superstar. This guy, a lot of you know him, and he's probably really upset at me right now for getting him to come here today. Because this isn't him. This isn't who he is, because he's all about team. He's not about himself. But I got to tell you a little story. About 3 years ago, it was on a Friday, and I got up to come to work, and I get up very early, and I'm downstairs, and my daughter who lives with me, and my wife, and my grandson, and my mother who's 81, so you can feel sorry for me. She comes down, and she's getting ready for work, and it's a couple weeks before Christmas, and I say to her, "Do you have your to-go bag?" And what I refer to a to-go bag is a bag that you carry in your vehicle that will sustain you for a couple of days if you get stranded. And I learned that over the years of being a police officer and being in public safety. And she says, "I don't have time for this, Dad." I said, "We're going to have a really bad snowstorm." And she says, "No, we're not." "How do you know that?" And there's a term that I use a lot. And I said, "Because we've got dually." So my daughter says, "That's nonsense. It's not going to snow." This was Friday morning. I didn't get to see her until Monday when I could finally get to her. So when I picked her up at the place where she works, she says, "Who is this dually? I need to meet him." And now to this day, whenever there's inclement weather, whenever there's the possibility of snow or something bad happening, she says, "What does Dooley have to say about it?" He's a rock star. So I'm going to take the county administrator's privilege, and he's inspired me to create an award every year, beginning with this year. It's the Team Paulding Team Member of the Year. Thank you, Stephen. I can't tell you, with COVID-19, how many hours Stephen has spent with departments, with our employees, talking with the public, talking with me and the chairman and the commissioners to make us as prepared as possible. He's always there for us. We got Dooley. Thank you. Stephen, we appreciate you. Mr. Chairman, with that said, I don't have any more musical references. I appreciate the opportunity to be here. We're very proud of Team Paulding, and we're going to get back to work here in a few minutes. It's never ending. Thank you for being here.